Hello, it's Miss Sapola. In this video, I am going to show you how we can draw and color and decorate to create a patterned pumpkin. So here are some examples of some patterns that we might be able to fill our pumpkin in with. This one and this one and this one were used making lines. So repeating lines, even if they vary, so we have a straight diagonal, then a dashed diagonal, then a straight, straight, dashed, straight, straight, dashed. But because it repeats itself, it creates a pattern. In this one, they use shapes to create the pattern. So using circles in this example, but you could use any shape. You could repeat squares or triangles. You could even have a square with a triangle inside of it as your pattern. And then this one again is shapes that build onto each other, right? So shapes created with lines, and the same here, some shapes that were created with lines. So you will either use some of these patterns or create your own when we are decorating our pumpkin. So you're going to start with one of your white pieces of paper. I'm going to start with my dark orange crayon, and we're going to make a pumpkin together. So I'm going to start by making a tall, skinny oval. So very tall, fairly thin, but wide enough that I can fit a pattern into it, right? Then from there, to build onto my pumpkin, I'm going to start on the left, L for left. So if I put both of my hands down, this one makes a capital letter L. So that's the left side. And I'm going to make like a tall, skinny capital C. Or you could think of it as another oval, but it stops once it joins the first one. Then again, on this side, over and down. Coming over to the right side now, doing the same thing. So this C would be backwards, or it's another tall, thin oval that connects to the first one. Oh, look at that. That looks pretty good, I think. Now, I'm going to make a stem on the top. I'm going to use green. You could also use brown. And so this shape is going to be more like a rectangle, but it's going to stop when it gets to here. And I know that pumpkins are from nature, and a lot of the time things in nature have curves in them more than straight lines. So this is similar to a rectangle, but on this one side I curved it. You could just have a straight rectangle or have both sides curved, of course. All right, now I'm going to color in the pumpkin very lightly with an orange crayon. In our box of crayons that we got in our toolbox, there are multiple colors of orange, shades of orange. So this one is lighter than the orange that I made my outline with. So I can still see the outline of the bumps of the pumpkin, and yet I can fill it in with a lighter version of orange, and so I can also have my pumpkin colored in. So I am dragging versus applying a lot of pressure. I have a little bit of pressure, but I'm just trying to get a light coloring in these sections. It's a faster way to color, and I want to be able to draw on top of this crayon. So that is why I'm not coloring as close or as hard, right? I'm not applying as much pressure as I normally would when I would be coloring. All right, you would color all 5 areas in. I'm going to stop here so I can show you how to add some patterns on top. So now I need a color that is a lot darker and stronger than the orange. So if I try to put pink over orange, it's not going to show up very much. White, again, nope. Yellow, nope. So my colors that are darker are going to be black, blue, purple, brown would probably show up. So I'm going to pick one of those colors to get started. I picked Bluetiful. What a cute name. So it's like beautiful, but it has the word blue in it. Bluetiful. So let's make a pattern using some lines. So I'm going to do a zigzag line. And you can see that my blue crayon has no trouble covering up that orange. So now I can see the orange of the pumpkin and also the pattern that I made using the crayon. I could use the same color of crayon in all of them, or I can switch colors each time I get to a new section of the pumpkin. It's going to have a new pattern. So I did one with lines. Now I think I will do one with shapes. I mentioned you could use squares instead of circles to make a pattern. So I'll do that example here. I could color these squares in. And so the pattern, right, the same shape or line repeating itself in an area. And then I could even go in there and I could put a different shape inside the square. I could have put a smaller square inside the square. That would have looked cute, I think. I decided to put an X inside mine. Now I can even, whoa, I'm getting fancy now. I'm coloring in the top and bottom triangles that were created inside of that square when I made the X. Now I'm giving it a little bit of oomph. This part's going to stand out more now because I put a little more variation and took a little more time on this part. All right, so you will keep going, filling in each section with a different pattern, and then finishing by coloring in the stem. And just like I colored lightly the orange of the pumpkin, now I can take my green and I can color this area in lightly. You could put another pattern inside the stem if you wanted to, with a darker color on top. I am just going to use my same color green. So I colored lightly but thoroughly, right, covering the space. And now I'm going to take the green and press a little harder, and those lines show up darker. And that kind of looks like the texture that would be in a pumpkin stem.